I need to move this entire workshop in 4 days. I just quit my day job and now I'm packing up all of my stuff to move to a farm. There's also a package on the way that I spent all of my savings on. And I hope it will change my woodworking big time. And going through this move also gave me an opportunity to surprise my wife with something that she really wants. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. So the mission for the coming 4 days is to move my workshop from here to here. And as you can see, the new workshop is not empty. But it is actually a bit closer to empty because I was there a couple of weeks ago cleaning it out. I also need to build a wall in that space for 3D printing and podcasting. And the rest of that space will be my temporary workshop until I can build something bigger in the barn. And I'm not sure I'll be able to fit everything. I might need to get rid of my CNC. We have a lot of stuff to move from our house to the new place, and I figured that 4 days is all I can use to move my workshop. Because the rest of the move needs to be finished within 2 weeks. So this behind me here is my CNC. It won't fit through the door of my temporary workshop, and that means I would have to take the table apart and then put it back together inside of my workshop, but also it'll eat up a lot of the space in that workshop. So I might have to sell it, but I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know towards the end of the video what I did. So I think I'm ready to transport all of this stuff, and to do that I got this, which is a horse transporter, and I think I can get a lot of stuff inside of it. So let's get started. So this is the end of day one, and I'm ready to drive up to the new house, and it's going to be a couple of hours, so I'll see you tomorrow for day 2. I started day 2 by getting some material for the wall I'm building without knowing how to build a wall. But how hard can it be? I want the wall to be as thin as possible, stealing as little space as possible. So I got some 2x2s and OSB. These particular OSB boards are called Pegboard and are only 600mm wide, which means they are easier handling. I also got some hardware for the door and the electrical. Then I was ready to start building, and stupid me placed all the OSB where I was supposed to build the wall. Kind of an obvious mistake. I haven't built walls before, so I kind of just winged it. I had the 2x2s cut to size and a laser to place them on a straight line, and then I just kept doing that until I had the wall laid out on the floor and in the ceiling. It was when I was doing this that I realized that the ceiling was sloping and none of the walls were straight. I figured there's probably a way to do what I'm doing correctly, and there's my way, which is probably wrong, but I kept reminding myself this is just a temporary workshop. The main thing I think was that I was enjoying it more this way, not knowing if it was the correct way of doing it, but still with the firm belief that it would turn into a wall. Total creative freedom. That's when a maker thrives, perhaps with a beer in hand. Since the Pegboard was 600mm, it was real easy attaching them to the wall, but of course I had to cut them to length. I was hoping to finish the entire room with insulation, OSB and a door during day 2, but I soon realized that I wasn't going to be able to do that. Cutting holes for electric sockets in the OSB and things like that took a lot longer. Also, wiring up the electrical wires took longer than expected. Nonetheless, I apparently had time to do this shoot towards the evening. There was really no reason for it, and pretty disturbing now that I look at it. The door was made the exact same way as the walls basically, 2x2s and OSB. I made a frame, attached some cross braces and OSB on top. It was getting late and I was starting to feel the pressure of getting things done in time. Making a wall might not seem that important when you have to move an entire house on a schedule, but I needed the space where the 3D printers could run without getting all dusty. Okay, so I'm at the end of day 2. I didn't get as far as I was hoping, but I have the door up. It just isn't finished with insulation on the inside, but I'll do that tomorrow, so I'll see you guys then. So it's the start of day 3. I have the wall done, I have the door done. I'm gonna put some IKEA pin boards on that wall, but first I'm gonna add some cork to the wall, because I think that will be a nice addition to the workshop. But also it's a great sound insulator, so I'm gonna put some in the back room as well for recording the podcast with great audio. This one is 6mm, so you can actually attach pins to it, which is really great, so I can just attach stuff directly to the wall. And to do this, I'm gonna bring in help from my wife, because I'm not good with wallpaper. I also found this hole right here. I just covered it with some cardboard for now. That's a big hole going out to the outside, and I need to fix that. But when I opened this yesterday, there was a lot of ants coming through, so they actually live inside of the wall. And I don't want that. The cork is attached with contact adhesive. You put one layer on the wall and one layer on the cork, and when it's dry you can go ahead and attach it to the wall. And it sticks quite well. It might look like I'm helping here, but I'm only posing for the camera. We went on to do the rest of the wall, then I redid the trim around the window, and then I attached the IKEA pegboard. I did, however, make a mistake in the planning phase. I had the electrical outlet set in the middle of the wall where I wanted an extra pegboard. So what do? Would you open up the wall to move the electrical outlet, or cut a hole in the pegboard? Okay, so it's the end of day 3. It's still very empty in here, but at least the podcasting room and the wall is finished. I need to add some trim later on, but for now, it's all good. So tomorrow I can start putting stuff in here, finally. I did put some IKEA pegboard up there. I'm gonna 3D print some holders for tools later on. But yeah, cork is a really cool thing. So tomorrow is just carrying stuff in, pimping it out, and then you'll see the end result. I started by lifting in all the wood and the rest of my equipment and realized it would fill up really quickly. So I decided to store some of the wood in the ceiling. I made some quick rafts that I attached to the ceiling. I might need to reinforce them later, but for now it worked just fine. They seem to hold my weight at least. And my weight is kilos. It's more every day for some reason. But I did realize it would be a pain to get the wood down, especially the pieces placed in the bottom, but who cares? I've got time. Then it was on to pimping the workshop. I added some more pegboards because I like the look of tools on pegboard, but also I figured I could make my own tool holders. So I designed a bunch of them that I could 3D print, like this tiny machinist square holder with embedded magnets. Some other models I found online, but whenever I couldn't find any, I made my own. These are just clip-on for the woodpecker ruler, a hammer holder that I found on Thingiverse, as well as these holders for the combination squares, a holder for the protective glasses, for the tape measure, and a bunch of other stuff. I even printed smaller pegboards for some of the tools just because it looks good. The maker knife got its own pegboard along with my headphones. The sponsor of this video is PCBWay. They do PCB prototypes and assemblies, but they also do 3D printing and CNC machining. So I went onto their website, uploaded my design of a battery holder for the Festool batteries that could go onto the IKEA pegboards. And I had them make it for me, and they just arrived and they look awesome. They're printed with a nylon plastic, which is much more durable than the regular PLA plastic. I'll have all the 3D printed items that I made uploaded to my website for purchase, and if you want to, you can download them and use PCBWay to have them make it for you. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. I even made some cute holders for these Centrotech chucks for the Festool drill and driver. I really love the way the pegboards look. And yes, I did think about French cleats, but everyone else seems to be doing just that, so I went with this. Then there was the package that I had been waiting for. It arrived early one morning just in time to complete the workshop. It arrived in a big crate, very well packed, and I was thrilled to get it open. So I took my time with it, to enjoy all of it. I had my wife help me carry it in. Her feet were not afraid of the cast iron top of this table saw. And then here it is, the workshop, and the table saw is in place. It's the Laguna Fusion 3, and I'm so happy to have been able to get this. I have been working on my DeWalt contractor saw for ages now, and this is just a major upgrade. The dust collector is over here, and it's ready to get plugged in whenever I need it with my magnetic clamps. Now available to be downloaded as a 3D print on my website. The Laguna Fusion 3, I haven't been able to try it out, but it seems to be a really well built saw. And here's the rest of the workshop. Oh, and regarding the old CNC, the X-Carve, I sold it. Yes, I eventually decided to sell it. It would have been nice to still have it, but it would be too big for this small workshop. And yes, I was able to surprise my wife with a pottery wheel on her birthday. And it just felt awesome.
Ja, vad fin. En drejskiva!
Det var den stilen.
Tack! Vad kul!
So, I'm finally ready to start woodworking in this space. I'll see you in the next video.